Okay, so maybe I haven't heard from her. I know she's had some stuff out of the ordinary happening, so perhaps she's unable to join us and she's doing other things. So let's just start our meeting. And Sean did email everyone the minutes in the body of the email. I saw that. I'm trying to screen share. I'm really sorry that I'm having so much issue. I can let someone else share their screen if they'd like to. How about that? If anyone wants to put the minutes up. Do you know how to do that, Sean?
I believe so. Let me see what I can do.
Let me see if I can. I think I've enabled you to share your screen. There you go. Does it give you the option to share your screen?
It looks like I have to do something with my privacy preferences, which might take a minute.
That's okay. Does anyone have public speak before we do the minutes?
My computer might be very slow in doing this, so if anyone else wants to give it a shot to share it, if not, we could look at the email.
I'm happy to look at the email.
Me too.
Oh, I might be able to share with you. Hang on. Actually, I realize. Let's see.
Which email should the minutes have come from? Because I'm trying
Share
to.
it now.
Oh, here.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Great. Look at that. So, yeah, good.
So I make a motion that we approve these minutes.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. We can get rid of this too.
Oh,
It's okay. Are you there?
yes.
Okay, good. So now we can move along to, so our grantee liaison contact, has anyone spoken or heard from their grantees?
I will say that I spoke with Helena again. We are tentatively planning to speak on Thursday at her studio because I think she's going to have some things to show me. So it's moving forward, although she hasn't gotten funding because her final concept needs to be re-explained to the committee to determine whether or not she gets funded. And she's aware of that.
Right, and she needed community partners to sign on.
Right. She was aware of that.
Great. Okay.
I talked to Dan Russ. Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
Okay, Dan, just go. I'm sorry. Let's hear about Dan Russell because I already heard you starting.
Yeah, well, I mean, he hadn't heard from Kate O'Connor yet. He was going to ask. Matt Medeiros can't really book anything until he knows when Luthier's is going to open, and the best Steve Barrett could say was mid-August. So there's no real way to plan that yet. And then Roger Ticknell hasn't gotten back to me.
Okay.
Peter, could you repeat the names of those grantees?
Dan Russell, Matt Medeiros, Roger Tinknell.
And you've been in touch with all of them? I just make a note.
I sent messages to them and I haven't heard back from. I talked to Dan. I talk to him all the time. The other two I have not heard back from.
I spoke to Matt. He's ready to go. It's a live streaming thing, so it is a date thing, but the recording and everything else, he's good to go on.
Yeah, and I saw Luthier's is going to start having their open mic again.
Not next week, but the week, like August, first week of August, they're going to start.
Right. So things are starting to happen.
So Matt Medeiros is waiting on Luthier's?
Well, you would have to. They I don't know if they
Yes.
start. Yeah.
Yes.
And he's aware, and he's on the schedule somehow, some way.
Yes. It sounds like he's working on scheduling a definite date. That's right, Pete? That's what it sounds like.
Sounds like, yeah.
I've got a question. I don't know quite what the procedure is. Rachel, what's her name? Diana emailed me very early on, and you answered her with information that I could not have supplied because I didn't know how it works, and copied me. And it seems I should reach out to my other grantees. I didn't know if they were notified who their liaison was. I didn't know if there's a sort of form letter, which is probably late. And I just feel this is the first time I've been part of this cycle, and asking if there's any guidance.
Okay, I did send out emails. Everyone should have gotten a copy when I initiated the contact between the grantees and the liaison. And what I can do, Louise, is go back and look and send you a copy again. It shouldn't be a big deal. Okay?
Great, and I can take it from there because Diana's is the only one I got a copy of an email.
That's great. I will go back and revisit it after we get out of the meeting and take a quick peek and see what's going on with that. It shouldn't be a problem.
Perfect.
Great. And I have some grantee news. It looks like Mill Pond Live will be having 2 concerts this summer in real life in September. They're doing it, though, by invite. You have to have scratch that word. You need to have a reservation, and there's a limited amount of spots.
Where's the location?
I believe don't quote me on this, but I believe it's Millside Park. I saw it via Facebook. So I have to I just got back into town yesterday. I have to talk to Cassandra Holden and see what's what, but I know that River Valley Co-op is one of their partners, and they held an event last week there for initial reservations for the September concert. So I'm going to get the rest of the word from her.
Excuse me, Rachel.
Sure.
Valley Co-op, blanking, but I'm on their mailing list, and they did not hold the event because of the rain. It's going to be this coming Saturday, I think. And
even better.
And it's supposed to be a bit of a reveal, or they said, I can't remember if you can actually make the reservations, but like, come to River Valley opening, soft opening, they're already open, and, you can connect with Mill Pond. Again, I can't remember the exact details, but this coming just to update, it's this coming Saturday.
Great, because I'm going to be in touch and I will find out the rest of the details, but they are having 2 live events. So let me see if I can take a quick peek. I'll message her while we're talking and see. She'll probably get back to me. Does anyone else have any more grantee information?
I heard from Wouter from Russ Temple School about a class that he was running for plant identification. And I heard from 2 other grantees. It was more about sort of paperwork and whether or not things were received. Moira from the library was wondering if her paperwork was received. And I got an email from Audrey Hivenen asking about funds. She had not received the funds from the direct grant program, she writes. But that was actually a while back. I got that email, but so maybe she's gotten it since then.
So I feel like Audrey was paid, but I can double check on that. And I'm sorry, you just, the paperwork from the library, they're asking if we got their completion, right?
Yeah.
I did. We did receive that, and they're all set.
Okay.
I can actually, let me go see. Cassandra did just write me back. 2 nights back to back, Friday and Saturday in Millside Park. I'm going to ask her which nights. Let me see. I feel like I have to double check. It's been hard without an auditor not seeing all of that paperwork, but I do think that Audrey was paid. Let's see. Also, I know Audrey moved, so I'm wondering if the check might have been sent and not forwarded to her. Let's see. So
she has family living. She passed her house over to family, so she would get it if it was sent to the same address.
this is interesting. I'm looking for her. No, it looks like she may not have been paid. I will follow up on that and see what's going on. Okay?
All right.
Okay. So it is 2 nights in September. It is at Millside Park for Mill Pond Live. And I will actually email you those exact, when she forwards me all that information, I can send that information to all of you via email. That is not a problem, because she now has gone away. Okay, any other grantee contact?
Well, this is not really a contact thing, but this is just maybe an update. They've changed the name of their programming that they had at the Arts in the Orchard, or the Orchard Reemerging, or so. What was it called, Rachel?
Reemergence. Yes.
Reemergence. So we help.
Right. This is good, Casey.
We helped fund that event, and because they changed the name, I didn't recognize what it was. I got free tickets from the Orchard, and it was lovely. It was a beautiful weather. There was about 25 cast members. A lot of people put some work together. They did an amazing job.
So just to clarify, this is Jennifer Anopa, and it was originally The Scars We Leave Behind, but they renamed it.
Okay, so Reemergence was the theme, and it was very well done for the money that they had to do it. These kids volunteered a ton of their time. And then I decided, based on the Russell's suggestion, that I had a cast party. So I had a cast party at the restaurant Sunday night, and about 40 of them showed up. And I gave them some free food and booze and whatever. And Rachel actually showed up. They had a great time. They said over 600 people attended the event. It was a win-win situation. It was like that's a success for this committee. to throw money their way. We should pay attention to what she does and the group that they're with, because it was well orchestrated, well published, as far as got an audience there. I saw people in my restaurant heading to the orchard. That's why I hosted the event, because they generated so much traffic through to be self-serving. But I think this committee gave money to the right group of people, and we should be, look at the success of that.
And when was Jen and Opa's event?
3 Saturday and Sundays in June, the last week in June.
Okay.
Was when I had gone. But it was, I think they had 3 shows a night. Maybe it was only Saturday they did it, but they did it 3 consecutive Saturdays. That's what it was. And they had full house the entire time. I think they had 30 people probably each round or something like that.
Yes, and they're sorry.
I'm sorry. And the total amount of attendees was
600. They said they had 600. Yeah.
And yes, I did drop by the party. It was more of a last minute thing, or it would have been an invitation. And they had a very interesting collective, and they were very enthusiastic and brought a lot of energy, and they really made the most of their grant funds, for sure.
Was this Tracy's liaison?
No, who were you? I think you were with, whose liaison was Jennifer Nopa? It wasn't you, Casey. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look. That's a very good question, isn't it? I don't have that screen up. I'll take a look.
We can look later.
Yes, it's not, and they should have let us know they changed the name. It was a little confusing, actually, but still a great project.
Right. I was sitting there looking at the cast guide, and I see the little logo on the bottom. So they did a good job representing, it was MCC, ECC, and a couple other sponsors that made it happen. But, because they changed the name, it didn't dawn on me until I saw the logo.
It was Chris's was a liaison. I just looked it up.
Very good. Okay. If there's no other grantee liaison contact, let's talk quickly about the mural, and then let's talk about our community input survey, because that's going to be the bulk. We're going to spend a little time there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, did everyone see the mural? Has anyone not seen the mural? Okay, so the mural got finished. Priya painted it in a week. We had a great volunteer crew, including Casey. We got some good press for it, and I hope you all saw it. Dave Stauffer, who owns Easthampton Feed, is very excited and very pleased with the work. Flurry Paint is so excited and very pleased, and so is Chuck Connor, our other sponsor at Taylor Real Estate. It went really smoothly and well, I think as well as it could have gone for us.
I will add that the artist who painted it said this was the best run organization that she has worked with.
Yeah, she was happy. Everyone was very happy to be part of it. And the finished product is being very well received. And so congratulations to all of you for being part of that. I really appreciate your support with this, and I think that it was money really well spent. We got specific contributions towards this, which enabled us to really make the most out of the part that we paid for with our 15%. And I feel really good about being part of that. And on that note, we still are going to hopefully have a small reception at the mural site where we can invite the mayor and we can invite city councilors and we can invite the public. And also we'd like to put plaque up. We still have money for a plaque, and I've spoken with a local graphics design place who actually has done placards for the other murals in town. And he's very on board, and we have the money for it still from this dedicated funding that was given to us from Taylor Real Estate. We have still around $300, and it won't cost us that. It's going to be within that budget for the plaques, and the plaque will basically have the mural title, which is Bloom. It will say the artist's name, the year it was painted. It will have the funders, obviously the Cultural Council. It will also say Mass Cultural Council, and it will have Fleury, and it will have Taylor Real Estate on it. And so I was thinking perhaps we could also have the plaques go up at the reception there. And we're looking now at August. I know we had originally talked about July, but I unfortunately had to leave town. My father had surgery. I'm sorry about that. And I didn't know when I would be back. So I'm curious so I know that for Priya, I talked to Priya, the artist, and I also spoke with Dave Stauffer at Easthampton Feed, and they said so I'm curious if Sunday, August 8th works for everyone, the 8th or the 5th. Yes?
Yes.
Does the 15th also work?
Yes.
Does August 8th or August 15th not work for anyone?
I'm afraid they probably don't for me. Not quite clear yet.
Okay. I'm going to have to pick a date or we're going to get too far out from our time frame, and I'm going to let everyone know this week so that the everything invites can go out in a timely manner. Okay? Because I want to be ahead of it. I am probably, it will end up being the 15th based on what I'm looking at, because it gives us more time to get everything in order. And I'm just going to double check with Priya. Does anyone have any questions about the mural?
What happened with all the extra paint?
Really? That's really your question?
No, I thought maybe we could donate it to, charitable cause, not
I gave it to a local artist. It was already picked up and taken away so that Dave Stauffer wouldn't have to store it. And they were all opened cans.
It would fall out of the back of a truck.
I gave it to Luke.
I know, he spilled it in the driveway.
Jesus, why did you bring, okay, so let's move along. Let's move along with this, Casey. Oh boy. So let's do, we have the community. I'm just double checking to make sure that works for Priya, because I'd really like to get these plaques up. And I think that, so by the way, I've been having great feedback about the mural. People are just so happy to walk by. They're really enjoying seeing it on their walk. And it's I think, just such a bonus that we got to be part of it. And I hope that everyone enjoys it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But on that note, let's move along to our community input survey, because our deal with this is that we need to get this out. I'm okay with it just going online. I realized Tracy talked about having it also be on paper. But I still feel like we're also still in COVID, and many places have very limited counter space and space for this, and they're not that interested in hosting extra touchable things at this point. So either way is acceptable for me. If anyone feels strongly that they'd like to put out a paper survey, talk to me about it, because I see people really reserving their counter space and not wanting to deal with this. So let's just go through the questions so we can at least get it up online. We need to be able to go over the answers before our August meeting. We're required to have these questions, the answers to them, help inform us about our local priorities as a council when we're reviewing grant applications, because while we must maintain the specific criteria outlined by Mass Cultural Council, which is the general rules of our grant applications, we're also allowed to have local criteria based on input around preferences for our locality. And we can also have our own rules or our own priorities as the lens we view our applications with in September. So we need to have these priorities up by September 1st on the MCC website. September 1st will be the date that the new grant round opens and that the application is available online for all cultural councils. Last year, that date was pushed back because the Commonwealth had not made their budget. I'm told that this year it will open on time. So with that in mind, I know Sean had put in some input prior to this. But with that in mind, let's take a quick peek at our questions.
Rachel, could you either increase the size or send the link again and I can access, because I can't read this.
Is that better?
No.
Is this better?
Yes, very more than, thank you.
Is it? Okay, that's terrific.
It actually is.
Great. So obviously we will change the dates. I feel like though most of the questions for me are pretty much holding true from last year. We are still in a pandemic and we still are in the process of uncertainty about restrictions and live events and the number of people, and some people are still not comfortable going into closed spaces. So these are pretty straightforward questions. So the first question, let's just go through it question by question. How's that? First question, are we going to leave that and just change the date to 2022? Given that COVID-19 and social distancing are likely to be part of our lives through much of 2022, are there any types of settings or projects to which you're particularly interested? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And were you aware? We're going to leave that because we want to know how we're doing. Select the types of events you've attended. We're curious to see what people actually did, I guess.
Question. Should it
Yes.
specify, if this is what you mean, the type of ECC sponsored? There must be a better way to put it, events. I mean, are we asking what kinds of things?
No, we're curious what people are doing and what they're interested in doing.
Okay. Maybe clarify just a little bit. I'll think on it just because.
That's fine. Population segment. These are tough questions for me personally. These, by the way, this survey is drawn from a survey that the Mass Cultural Council gives us as a sample survey. We haven't deviated that much from it. We changed it, we augmented it a bit because of the pandemic, but this is pretty much their general survey.
Should we say underrepresented or historically I'm trying to think of the last one. We said something at the end that we were prioritizing BIPOC and race. There was something there, and there's nothing here that connects.
Let's take a look. We can take a look. It's so brief. We could say communities that you feel are underrepresented, please specify. We can ask them to specify. I think we didn't include anything like that in our last survey.
We had something when we somewhere to do with the survey. That's why it's sticking.
I don't think it was the survey as much as it was the applications for the grants.
We didn't actually specify that.
Okay.
We didn't put that. I think ECA did that. We didn't put that in our community input survey. We could say, is there another group? We can put other, please specify.
It's okay. I thought I'd seen it, like the guidelines we were following. I honestly not sure. It just struck me that.
We can see what look, you want to see what our priorities are now? I can do that. You ready? We can see what our priorities are now, but give me
It might have been our priorities. I can't remember. And I just remember sort of thinking, oh, that wasn't a question. And now here it's a priority, which could have been the timing as well. And that's.
We can.
Can't be
So
that
PS, Mill Pond Live is actually, I can tell you the dates if anyone wants to write this down. Mill Pond Live is happening September 10th and 11th, 6 to 10 p.m. Limited capacity and contact tracing and registration are required. Admission is still free or pay what you wish. Just giving you the update.
Thank you.
So give me a minute. I have gone, here we go. Here we go. You can see what our priorities.
Can't see that whole. Can anybody else?
That's okay, because I closed it off so I can do a few things at the same time. You'll be able to see it when I blow it up. Give me 1 second.
Cool.
Here we go. So, our priorities. So, these are our current priorities, which we're not discussing right now. We're doing the community input survey. These were our priorities from last year.
We still can't see them.
Really? Okay, give me a minute here.
Or at least I can.
Interesting. Hang on. Let me see what I can do. Okay, hang on.
There we go.
Here we go. These are our priorities from last year, but we're not discussing those right now. We're just going to use the survey. That's it.
All right, no mention.
We didn't, and I think we left that out. But what we can do is we can write other in here. Please specify.
Sounds good.
How does anyone feel like that's not good?
Great.
It gives people an opportunity to say it, what they'd like, right?
I personally believe that every survey ever should always have an other.
Great. So I will write that down and for our survey, and we'll add that. So that's a demographic. Add to survey. Okay. And then, come on. Oh, I know I can't do that. There we go. We can add an other to this one too. What should be the most important funding priorities for the Easthampton Cultural Council next year? Please indicate your top 2.
That works. Add other.
I'm okay with adding an other. Does anyone else feel differently?
I'm sorry, are we adding another and other?
Yes, we're adding other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
What we're looking at now as well.
Yes.
Priority is great.
And also Art Walk is supposedly returning in September.
3rd.
Great.
Yep.
September 3rd. And that's our whole survey. We keep it pretty short and simple. Is there anything that anyone else would like to mention?
I think your other is like you'll have to format it afterwards. It looked like a separate section.
I'm going to add it to a box and other, and please, and give it. I will. It will say other, and there will
just
be
an edit comment. Proofread.
Yeah, and they'll be able, and I'll add comments to it, where they'll be able to do that.
Great.
Anyone? So we're good if I publish this online this week with the 2 boxes with the other and the opportunity to specify?
Yes.
Sean, does that cover you?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. So with that in mind, I had just one note. I had talked about possibly doing a networking event. I'm okay not doing that this year. I think that we'd have to really kind of do it outside. I think businesses are really wanting to use their opportunities to have, customers as that, and we get a good deal when we go places. Is everyone okay with that if we're not doing it? Or maybe look at it in the fall, maybe talk about doing a networking event in the fall? I don't know.
I'm okay with it. The groups, 1 or 2 studios that I know, don't have the added capacity, and they're just trying to keep afloat by now. I know technically the COVID restrictions were all lifted by our glorious governor, but not everyone is feeling comfortable with that, and the parts that I know, they're still using restrictions, and they're just going crazy. So I don't see them having being able to participate or donate or anything at this stage. And who knows? Revisit in September. you know, and don't.
Is everyone okay with that? If I'm trying to turn my screen sharing off. Is everyone okay if we perhaps revisit the networking event?
Yes.
Okay.
One idea, if we do have something in August, could we have that be some kind of networking event?
Oh, you mean our reception?
Combine the
Yeah,
two?
that's actually a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. We could, well, because it means I have to send out invitations to anyway. So, and then I have to come up with an invitation. I mean, technically it is a networking event and you're not wrong. It just means I need to get it all together for that. Let me see what I can do. How's that?
Well, you know, if we're sending out invitations, we could divvy up the work if that's helpful.
It could be. It means a bigger list and I have to go through the list and I can do that. You know what? I have the thing we sent out before. And let me take a look, and if I need help, I can, that's something we're able to discuss, not in a public meeting, when we make these kinds of administrative, when we do administrative work, we can talk about that outside of a public meeting, and I'm happy to do that. Let me look and see, because we did this 2 years. The last time we did this was 2 years ago. Let me take a quick peek at what we sent out 2 years ago. It might be very manageable if I just use that same list and go through that. And if I would like some help, may I just reach out? Okay, great. Okay, that's a good idea, Sean. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention is to keep in mind, maybe we want to do another council program. We have another grant round coming up in September. So if anyone has ideas for a council program, we can.
I would always suggest another mural. I think that they have a lot of bang for their buck. You know what I mean? If there's a lot of space in the city that could use some public art, and if it's, you know, the Skillet's Hot, or some other funding, other program, I think that if we can direct funds directly with people we know, like Laudable, they're home runs. You know what I mean? So I think that we should just consider right off the top that whatever percentage, that 15 that's allotted to the council, to be considered ours, and start to put our head together about things that we'd like to see out there, whether or not it's a music festival or something, you know, whatever it is. I think that it'd be nice to control that, because it seems like we have people that are successful at it.
I don't disagree. So usually based on our community input survey, always we get the requests for things that are family friendly, good for everyone, outside. Like Mill Pond Live is always everyone's favorite thing, and the example they use of what they would like. And so it's something to think about if there's something we can support in a bigger way. And yes, there's always more murals that can happen, but they would require more community partners, and we would have to work that out again, and we'd have to probably talk to Abishan and someone else to figure that out. But these are things I think to keep in mind. We do have a grant round coming up, and if people had some ideas or thoughts on that, I would encourage you to bring them to the next meeting when we talk about our community, our local priorities, and what we're looking for in our grant applications. And on that note, I don't have anything else to say. Does anyone else before we adjourn the meeting? Okay, I motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a second. All in favor?
All right. I will see you all later, and I'm going to send some emails out after this. And please look for the community's input survey online and share it with people. I'll put it in the group pages and all of that. All right?
Great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.